Interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay, so as usual, let's get started. We're almost done with this actually, but unfortunately, we are gonna miss the release for this. I was trying to get this released on Christmas, but with how sick I've been, I'm gonna have to push this back a little bit. So definitely, probably by the 26th, this will be released. We'll see. But we're definitely about to wrap this up soon because this wasn't gonna be that long. This is a relatively short one, but I wasn't expecting to get this sick. And I had to put my streams a little bit shorter than usual, so we've lost time. But anyways, let's get started. Before I get started, before we get started, I looked at my outline. Today we're going to be talking about why Tatari matters within the Nasuverse. Should be pretty straightforward. Okay. Tatari. If I play my cards right, Tuesday should be the final stream for this. Then we can actually start getting this released. So by Friday, this should probably be released. Maybe. Tatari is significant. Tatari is significant. Not because of its power, but what it represents. Represents within the Nasuverse. Not a lot of people know about it because a lot of people didn't play Melty Blood. This shows the idea. Shows the idea. Human belief that human belief has weight. Human belief has weight. That perception it's hot because it's a rumor that's spread. Yeah, that's perception when shared widely. Yeah, when shared wildly enough. Yeah, enough. Can shape reality itself. Tatari is significant not because of its raw power, because of its power actually. Tatari is significant not because of its power, but because of what it represents within the Nasuverse. It shows the idea that human belief has weight, that perception, when shared widely enough, to can shape reality itself. Do you have to reshape? I think shape is fine. Tatari. Tatari is the clearest. No, that's kind of pushing it. Tatari is exists. People, because people believe fear and I won't say repeat stories until those ideas gain substance. in the Nasuverse, Tatari stands out as something. Tatari stands out. Tatari stands out as something born entirely from collective imagination. Which is funny because in the Nasuverse, we got rules, we got systems, we got magecraft, but Tatari over here is powered by imagination. Tatari is significant, not because of its raw power, but because of what it represents within the Nasuverse. It shows the idea that human belief has weight, that perception, when shared widely enough, can shape reality itself. It can be said that Tatari exists because people believe, fear, and repeat stories until those ideas gain substance. Within the Nasuverse, Tatari stands out as something born entirely from collective imagination. That's what makes it dangerous, because their own thoughts power it up. This makes Tatari especially dangerous. We'll put more emphasis on that, especially dangerous. It weaponizes belief. Indiscriminately, if you want to be cute about it, without discrimination. Without discrimination, reflecting, whatever narrative gains traction. So whatever rumor pretty much gains traction among the masses. And I know I'm being a dead horse, but people yap too much. This means that the scale of destruction that Tatari brings is literally tied to the rumor itself. If it's war, we're all cooked. Well, they're all cooked. Nero too. Yeah, Nero's very busted. You don't give him enough credit. He's very broken. A lot of dead apostles that Tohno had to deal with in Tsukihime are very overpowered. Especially Ro. Ro is dumb. This means scale of destruction. It's tied to the scope of the rumor itself. I still haven't figured out what's my next Titan video going to be about. It's going to come soon. But I'm doing this congruently with Yu and Echo one, so this will get released first, then the Yu and Echo one. I gotta release a sprite animation soon, so I have a horror one I gotta do. It's gonna be a pretty busy new year. Like, we're still gonna be doing our thing, and as usual, I do take suggestions, but Titan's a little bit easier than Yu and Echo. Yu and Echo's all over the place. This means that the scale of destruction is tied to the scope of the rumor itself. Imagination is literally the worst possible thing to have when dealing with this. Tatari shows how imagination, when left unchecked, can be catastrophic. I can actually spell. And I know I repeated this earlier, but having Wark is probably the worst possible outcome. Just because it's an unhinged Arcueid that's gonna kill people. That's gonna do a lot of carnage. It's a very bad situation to be in. Alright. Custody is significant not because of its power, but because of what it represents within the Nasuverse. It shows the idea that the human belief has weight, that perception, when shared widely enough, can shape reality itself. It can be said that Tatari exists because people believe, fear, and repeat stories until those ideas gain substance. Within the Nasuverse, Tatari stands out as something born entirely from collective imagination. This makes Tatari especially dangerous. It weaponizes belief without discrimination, reflecting whatever narrative gains traction among the masses. This means that the scale of destruction is tied to the scope of the rumor itself. Tatari shows how imagination, when left unchecked, can become catastrophic. To be honest, I think I could actually wrap this up in this stream. Yeah, I think I probably will just wrap it up. How long am I streaming this for? 12 minutes? Damn. Again, I do apologize. I've been pretty sick. This is why this hasn't gotten released yet. But if I can finish this stream, I think we can actually get this released. Yeah, I can get this released on Christmas. If we can get this, yeah, we'll push for Christmas. So, Tatari shows how imagination when left unchecked can become catastrophic. It also serves as a bridge if you really want to be cute about it across the Nasuverse. Because a large amount of the casting actors, again, well, in all of Melty Blood besides Lumina, they're manifestations. They could be considered manifestations of Tatari. Probably not, but who knows? Oh, yeah, so it also serves as a narrative particularly in Melty Blood. You gotta be specific here. Melty Blood. With the exception of Ryogi Shiki, who's a guest character. You know what? Yeah. Pretty much the right side of the screen is what I'm referring to. Can exist. This is a run-on. It's fine. I'll fix this later. One. I guess we talk about Tsukihime characters. Characters from Tsukihime. Characters from Tsukihime. Yeah, I guess they all play essential roles. Confronting and resolving these events. It's more so Tohno, but people help out. Like yeah, we'll talk about Tohno right now. Shiki Tohno. Shiki Tohno. Yeah, definitely Tohno, because Sion would get cooked so fast without Tohno's help. Like it's not even a good joke. Sion, she's strong, but she's not taking on the upper echelons of Tsukihime villains on her own. There's no way, no way. Those are Tohno specific enemies that you have to be very specific in how you kill them. There's no way she's like handling anybody without his help. Like a hypothetical Sion versus Nero matchup, she's cooked. She's totally cooked. Sion. You know, I'm even gonna say that without his help, without his involvement, I'm not even trying to downplay her, but we have to be serious for a second. Like Tohno was, first of all, in the Tohno v Nero matchup, Naga had to step in to kill Nero. And you had to kill all 666 of his beasts. I'm pretty sure Sion does not have the essentials to kill Nero, and with his gimmick. Roa, you had to actually poke. You had to poke the circle in order to kill Roa. Oh my god. Yeah, Sion would have been having a lot of trouble. Would have failed. Yeah, I would say that would have failed. Shiki Tohno in particular acts as critical support to Sion. Without his involvement, her efforts to confront Tatari would have failed. I guess I'll briefly mention Alco because she's there. She's kind of final boss in one version. Yeah, she is. Alco Alzaki. Presence. I can actually spell. Background. She's in the shadows. Observing events unfold. Reinforcing Reinforcing her role as an unseen constant. Like she's in the shadows constantly, but she's not acting unless she needs to act. And just like in React or Academic, if you want to be cute about it. I wouldn't even say she's an antagonist because she's not. She just says, I don't, us? I guess. You really want to be cute about it? Yeah, I'm not even gonna put antagonist. Melty Blood. I don't pause it. I think we'd actually finish this up. We'll do a conclusion right after this. Ultimately, Tatari reinforces the idea that reality if not shaped by power alone, that is going to be a take. Power alone. Its perception matters, but by perception. Stories matters, belief matters, all the fun stuff. Stories matters, belief matters. Oh, I'm gonna do a funny. I'm gonna quote the manga. If you've read the Melty Blood manga, you'll know exactly where I'm going with this. Tatari is the proof. No, Tatari is the proof that Tatari is the proof that danger. No. A phenomenon can turn a rumor into a consequence. Okay, cool. So we'll read this, then we'll do a quick conclusion, and I think we should be good to go. Tatari is significant not because of its power, but because of what it represents within the Nasuverse. It shows the idea that human belief has weight, that perception shared widely enough can shape reality itself. It can be said that Tatari exists because people believe, fear, and repeat stories until those ideas gain substance. Within the Nasuverse, Tatari stands out as something born entirely from collective imagination. This makes Tatari especially dangerous. It weaponizes belief without discrimination, reflecting whatever narrative gains traction among the masses. This means that the scale of destruction is tied to the scope of the rumor itself. Tatari shows how imagination, when left unchecked, can become catastrophic. It also serves as a narrative bridge across the Nasuverse, particularly in Melty Blood. With the exception of Ryogi Shiki, who is a guest character, a large portion of the cast in Melty Blood again can exist as Tatari manifestations. Characters from Tsukihime play essential roles in confronting and resolving these events. Shiki Tohno, in particular, acts as a critical support to Sion. Without his involvement, her efforts to confront Tatari would have failed. I'm gonna die on that cliff. Ako Aozaki's presence lingers in the background, observing events unfold, reinforcing her role as an unseen constant. She would assume her role as final boss in certain versions of Melty Blood. Ultimately, Tatari reinforces the idea that reality is not shaped by power alone, but by perception. Stories matter, belief matters. Tatari is proof that a phenomenon can turn a rumor into consequence. Okay. I think it's good. Obviously, there's other characters that are involved, but they don't play a big role as like Tohno does. Like Akia's there, Ciel's there, Arcueid's there. I mean, Arcueid does play a role, but we didn't need to go into like a lot of detail about it. Because again, this should just be seen as an introductory passage. Okay, so let's write a conclusion. I just gotta bring up my outline so I can get see which quote I had. Give me a second. I'm gonna use Carl Jung, I think. Just reading this over again just in case. Must reinforce the idea that reality is not shaped by power alone, but by perception. Stories matter. Belief matters. Tatari's belief that a phenomenon can turn a rumor into consequence. I do like how that sounds. I might kind of change it though. Alright, let me just bring up my quote, and I think we should be good to go from here. Alright. So conclusions. We gotta tie everything together. Tatari is what happens. It's what happens when human fear, rumor, and exception are allowed to accumulate. That's a good word. Rualachia. Yeah. Rualachia. Sion to an extent. Who the fuck? Really? Even when I'm not on duty, I'm on duty. Give me a second. Jacket wants to eat. Okay. Sorry about that. Rualachia. Sion to an extent. Dust of Osiris. Among the many temporary. We gotta do temporary avatars born from its manifestation. During its manifestation. A clear pattern emerges. At the end of the day, the more a story repeats, the more powerful it gets. Yeah, the more a story is repeated, let's be cheeky. The more a story is repeated, the heavier it becomes until it can no longer be imaginary. Yeah. Heavier it becomes till it no longer remains imaginary. It's funny, like, people didn't play Melty Blood, so people have no idea that this is even a concept in the Nasuverse, but it is. It's a very crazy concept. And this is what makes it scary, because people give it power. This is what makes in the Nasuverse. It doesn't impose itself on humanity, it's powered by humanity. Hey. Alright, there we go. I like that. It doesn't impose itself on humanity. It's powered by... Yeah. It's powered by humanity. See, if this was the other day, I would not have been streaming this long. Like, I was dying. It was pretty bad. The chronic hiccups definitely got to me, but we're better now. Like, the whatever I caught is on its way out. In a sense, it shows people what they already fear. Then it forces them to confront it. So I'm gonna do the same thing I did in the Tohno video. I'll use Accidenza, interactions between Sion and Wallachia, just because in Accidenza, in older Melty Bloods before Actions again, they were more unhinged in their interactions with each other. Or people that played all the games will realize, we'll see that. It's like, yeah, Actions again's bantering is kind of watered down from how it used to be. Case in point being, Aki's like, yeah, it will satisfy me a lot to kill you, Shiki. You won't see that nowadays. So yeah, I'll definitely use Accidenza. Accidenza's a very weird, fun game. In a sense, it shows people what they already fear. And forces them to confront it. Yeah. Okay. Alright. I have it on my... Give me a second. I have to actually take a look at this quote and see how this works. So Carl Jung. Man is not what he is, but what he imagines himself to be. Man is not what he is, but what he imagines himself to be. Yeah, because Tatari can be whatever you want it to be. Yeah, I can do something like that. I'll write something like that. Alright, Carl Jung. I rarely use his quotes, but I know who he is. Carl Jung once wrote. Man is not what he is. He is. But what he imagined himself to be. And it shows that our imagination is not as harmless as we think it is. This quote is haunting. What we picture whisper about, and even dread eventually gains form. What we picture, whisper about, and even dread eventually gains form. Eventual. Tatari is proof. Exists as proof. That Tatari is proof that belief alone, if shared, no, belief alone shared, repeated, and feared can become a reality for a single night. All right. I think that's good. We need a good final question, like I always do. Tatari is what happens when human fear, rumor, and exception are allowed to accumulate. Through Wallachia, Sion to an extent, Yusuf Osiris, and many of the temporary avatars born from this during its manifestation, a clear pattern emerges. The more stories repeated, the heavier it becomes, until it no longer remains imaginary. Until it no longer remains imaginary. This is what makes Tatari so unsettling within the Nasuverse. It doesn't impose itself on humanity. It's powered by humanity. In a sense, it shows people what they already fear and forces them to confront it. Carl Jung once wrote, "Man is not what he is, but he imagines himself to be." This quote is haunting because it shows that our imagination is not as harmless as we think, what we picture, whisper about, and even dread eventually gains form. Tatari exists as proof that belief alone, shared, repeated, and feared, can become reality for a single night. Oh, I have something. So, fuck, no, I don't have something. I know we end these narratives with a question for the viewer. I just gotta think. If fear and rumor can become reality for one night, what did it say about our daily lives? No. If fear and rumor can become real for one night, if fear and rumor can become real for one night, if fear and rumor can become real for one night, what does that say about the stories we tell ourselves every day? Yeah, I like that. What does that say? Oh man, that's actually a bad one. if what I tell myself every day became a reality, oh shit, Jesus. Let's not even think about that. Like, I'm pretty sure people have some very unhinged thoughts throughout their days. What does that say about the stories we tell ourselves every day? The stories we keep telling ourselves every day. If fear and rumor can become real for one night, what does that say about the stories we keep telling ourselves every day? You do not want to know the stories that go on through this noggin. Tatari is what happens when human fear, rumor, and exception are allowed to accumulate. Through Altasia, Sion to an extent. I'm gonna get rid of that extent. Through Altasia, Sion, Dulcim Osiris, and many of the temporary avatars born during its manifestation, a clear pattern emerges. The more a story is repeated, the heavier it becomes, until it no longer remains a mystery, imaginary. This is what makes Tatari so unsettling from the Nasuverse. It doesn't impose itself on humanity, it's powered by humanity. In a sense, it shows people what they already fear and forces them to confront it. Carl Jung once wrote, "Man is not what he is, but what he imagines himself to be." This quote is haunting because it shows that our imagination is not as harmless as we think. What we picture, whisper about, and even dread eventually gains form. Tatari exists as proof that belief alone, shared, repeated, and feared can become reality for a single night. If fear and rumor can become real for one night, what does that say about the stories we keep telling ourselves every day? Don't imagine it. Okay, I think, how long have we streamed this for? About 45 minutes, nice. I think this is good. We did a lot, but like I mentioned before, this should just be seen as introductory narrative for Tatari, because again, it's a concept that people don't know about because people didn't play Melty Blood. Hell, there's people that don't even know what the hell Melty Blood is. I remember a while ago that someone commented on one of my older videos that Sion looks like a character from Fate Stay Night. I'm like, wow. Well, same artist, but yeah, Melty Blood is a spin-off of Tsukihime, and Tsukihime is part of the Nasuverse, which Fate Stay Night is part of the Nasuverse. Go figure. So yes, there is a realm outside of Fate Stay Night. Look it up. There's a lot of narratives. There's Kara no Kyokai, there's Tsukihime, there's Melty Blood, sort of. There's a lot of things happening besides Fate. Fate is not the end-all be-all in the Nasuverse. So, good stuff. Thank you for whoever stopped by. I'll try to get this released as soon as possible. Again, bear in mind, I'm kind of sick right now, so I do have to record this. So I don't know if I should probably record this while I'm still sick, because people already can't understand me. So it's all good. I'm still debating on what my next Type-Moon video is going to be about. I'll sleep on it and we'll go from there. But be expecting this video probably by the end of this week. All right, everybody, take care, and I'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.